Hello. I return in peace again. I I hope this session will... Well, I hope my stomach will be fine. It wasn't fine a while ago, so I might have to escape around the corner if that happens, but let's hope not. And I'm sure you wanted to know this. Anyway, let's get to the game. Where were we? Here. I guess I have been saving each time into a new file. What happened last time? We had second therapy sessions for several vampires, I think. Yeah. Edmund tied his whole identity to the stage because the stage shaped him from the streets when he was a kid. And I think Medi will be our next client, most likely. But I guess Sam is here after Edmund's session. Time to dish with Crimson a little. I gotta talk to some more folks though, and he's mainly my teacher, so I'm starting to feel like Crimson's my only friend. So lonely.
Hey, only friend.
Excuse me?
What? Oh, yeah, Crimson. Hey, Crimson.
Are you blushing, vampire?
No, that ain't possible.
It's all right. It's nice to hear from a vampire who's younger than Jesus.
Should I move it a little bit? Yes. Just a bit. That's good.
Now, let's hear how this week went before you go out there and find friend number 2.
And those Europeans also his friends. I thought they were. But they are just humans, like Crimson is.
Alright, real quick, this client of mine, he had a real bad time as a kid. Well, worse than I did, it sounds like. But he found fame early, and now he's talking about fate and how he's destined for greatness again.
Met plenty of destined for greatness folk in DC. I lost patience for it. How do you think you handled him?
How did he handle it? I really don't remember. Maybe it was well.
I learned my lessons from the last session. He didn't threaten to jump off a cliff this time or anything. I gave him an assignment to film himself doing something he loves doing. He seemed excited about that.
Okay.
You're either brave or adorable, Sam Walls.
There's nothing brave about it. As for adorable, well, some have used words to that effect before.
Okay, now I know you're confident enough to get out there. Giddy up.
Here we go. Right to the edge of the dance floor, but not on it. Don't want anyone getting any funny ideas.
I wonder if Sam will dance at the end of the game.
Once more alone, I see.
It's this Panopti Bella. Did we see her last time? She was one of those we can bite, I think.
You scared the shit out of me.
But you can't shed. You're a vampire. Know that I see much, vampire, and that I like what I see.
Do you now?
Oh, it's her again. Well, I was hoping to find a mortal friend, or at least a willing Nick.
I don't think she really counts as a friend. She's just a willing neck. For now. This weirdo.
Now, what do mortals of this time talk about?
Let's be awkward about the music. The music here is so loud.
They ever play the classics in here? A little Oh Susanna or Old Folks at Home?
songs have been long forgotten now.
Thanks, Panoptibella.
Well, what songs do you like?
If I told you, would you know them?
Probably not.
I see.
You see a lot, don't you?
Why don't you tell me what you see?
A lot of eyes.
I see an interesting mortal. Someone observant. Someone who isn't afraid to have their own style.
That is what you observe. It is not what you see.
Well, fine, you tell me what I see.
You see the long vein across my throat. It looks very juicy, doesn't it?
Can't really see it. She has a high collar too.
Well, now that you mention it, it does.
There's a little bit of neck there, but only a little bit.
Then consent is given. Do not hesitate, vampire.
Oh no.
Shucks.
I did it.
Something else. Got good circulation there.
I see. And what do I taste like?
What does she taste like?
Kinda earthy. You could use some iron. What do you eat most often?
Is she a vegetarian?
I eat a lot of carrots. They're supposed to be good for one's eyesight, and I like to see.
But wasn't that propaganda around the time when which World War? Anyway, it was. I think it was propaganda by the Brits when they decoded some stuff that they were just eating lots of carrots that they saw the things instead of other things. Anyway.
I see now that you are tired and wish to enter your state of torpor.
Well, maybe I'll see myself out then.
No.
That's offensive. I'm going to leave now.
Shoot, was it something I said? Well, at least I got a full belly. And now, time for some shut-eye.
Good evening, Samuel. I believe you are seeing the Ancient One tonight, aren't you?
The Ancient One. The streamer vampire.
Ancient one. She's 1,200 years younger than you, Andy.
I suppose I was engaging in a bit of labeling myself. You are, of course, correct. Still, her age presents a unique challenge. After one lives for 1,000 years, history seems less a line than a fixed point.
Also, she probably knows a lot more about current popular culture than Sam does, which is... it's interesting. It's interesting.
Speaking of which, I imagine you can guess what distortion an old one such as Medi might fixate upon.
Four months?
Scene_guy just resubscribed for 4 months. Hi.
It's already 4 months. Hi. You found yourself here. Again. I don't remember what kind of thinking Medi would fixate on. An elder vampire like myself, Medi has lived mostly alone for the past 2 millennia. She grew up among wanton violence between Irish clan warlords and has since kept distance between herself and mortals. She now spends more of her time online, where she has become a streaming celebrity. I do not know what this means, but perhaps a younger vampire might. She has expressed frustration at the increasing demands of her followers. Suggestion: be patient with the elderly. You're in bed under a certain puppy. That sounds so nice. Session 1. Medi is feeling overwhelmed by her followers on social media and their demands. She relies on them for food and help dealing with mortals. Talks about mortals as if they are all the same. Spends a lot of time online. Creates strong one-way attachments with her followers. Needs to get outside. Bad at boundaries. I think next time I should figure out why she's got such a simple view on models. Maybe she'd be better off if she didn't see them as ants. Typing with on-screen keyboard is hard though. Well, it's more important to be comfortable. Enjoy your puppy. Okay, let's go back. So maybe overgeneralization?
It's gotta be overgeneralization. She really is basing all her opinions on her experiences when she was alive.
Very good, Samuel. I heard tales of her island in my time, but they were never peaceful tales. I am not surprised she finds safety in her narrative. What other distortions do you think Medi might exhibit?
Many distortions. Like, I don't think she was much of a should kind of girl. Lady, whatever. Maybe Nosferatu thinking. Labeling. Probably control fallacy. What else? I don't know. Maybe we should take should statements because they are easy in comparison. It's just using me for my body heat. Is it cold? There. It's been super warm for a January here now. Almost all the snow has melted away. Yes, it's cold. Well, at least you get the warmth of sunny also. Let's take that.
Good to go, boss.
Then I will leave you to it. Good luck, my friend.
Good luck, Sam.
Hello again, strange cowboy man.
It's good to see you again, Mitty. How's the past month been for you?
I went for a walk, just like you suggested. Didn't like it very much.
So steady train so hot then there's minor flooding. That sounds annoying. No floods here at least, but it's too cold for that. Still, even though almost all of the snow has melted. Damp and cold. It is like that here also. But not very cold. Should be much colder.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. What was so unpleasant about it?
It's very loud outside, and dirty and smelly. Everywhere I walked, it smelled like mortal food, which is disgusting.
Oh, Medi. I can relate so hard to that. It is horrible outside. It's loud, it's dirty and smelly. Yes.
They knew how good it felt to drink blood maybe they would not eat so much of this pizza food. There's so many cars too. I don't like cars. They have hateful faces. They look so angry all the time. Stepped in a wee, killed 7 men and got splashed by a bus. It's really quite awful.
Stepped in we. Killed 7 men.
You killed 7 men? How the heck did that happen?
Oh, that was inconvenient, you know. Normally I have my zealots do that kind of thing for me. They take care of the bodies. But I had to do all that silly work myself, and now there are always police sirens going off, which interrupts my streams and makes my followers very sad.
Why did that all happen?
Because they found the bodies everywhere, silly. I don't know what to do with my rubbish.
Maybe you should learn, Medi.
I meant why the killing? You didn't happen to make a few assumptions based on past experiences? Why kill a bunch of men?
Oh, well, they looked at me. I know what mortals who look at me are like. If I let them live, they'd probably try to burn me as a witch. I could do nothing but kill them.
Okay, no. I think this has more than one. Like, I know what models who look at me are like. And there's definitely some kind of overgeneralization there. But then there's, I could do nothing but kill them. Like, that's the only option. Let's start with this.
Hold on a sec. You know what mortals who look at you are like. How do you know? Are you reading their minds?
I don't have to read their minds, sweetling. I have known manlings for a very long time.
I get what you're saying, but here in this room at least, we gotta be honest with ourselves. Do you really know what they were thinking?
Silly mouseling. I do not need to know what a wolf is thinking to know what a wolf is.
Does that mean every wolf you see is gonna try to eat you?
We don't have wolves anymore. They're all gone now.
So maybe you can see where that kind of thinking can be a problem. It was scared people who killed all them wolves, right? Now I know that thinking doesn't come from nowhere. Old as you are, I'm sure you've seen some real awful stuff.
That's right. Haven't killed you, though. You are kind, little mouse.
And it would be best to stay that way. Don't kill me, Maddie.
Well, let's lay off the mouse stuff a little.
I'm sorry. I don't wish for you to scurry away into a little hole. Do you want to hear why I feel the way I do?
I would appreciate it greatly, miss.
Let me tell you about men from my time, then. Let's start with me da. My father sold me and my mother to a chief of a rival clan for a golden necklace.
How cheap.
That is just horrifying.
Oh, don't fuss, sweetling. It was the most beautiful golden necklace. At least 2 girls' worth. My father got quite a deal, really.
You're using humor, but I'm sure that must have been heartbreaking for you.
It was common at the time. I suppose I should have been glad to be the possession of an old chief.
Should have been. And there's that red aura. But we don't have should statements here.
I knew girls who did as they were told. They would have been thrilled to have been the concubine of a powerful chief. But, oh, he was so old. Cormac O'Neill, the oldest man I had ever seen. I remember thinking, where is his face? Because I could not see it under all his disgusting wrinkles.
How old was the guy?
38.
I don't think 38-year-olds are that wrinkly, usually.
That was pretty old in your time, huh? Wish I'd died at 38. Could have been a better looking corpse.
Well, he left an awful looking corpse. His face was all.
Did you kill him, Medi?
I'm guessing you had something to do with that, huh?
Not me. My boyfriend, Abertach, told me he'd set me free. I suppose he did.
Wild times.
He created a delightful poison for me. He said it would make my dear master die in excruciating pain. So one night I lay with him, and that means I did sex, and when he was pleased, I fed him the poison mead. Abby did what I couldn't, and the old fool finally died.
I think the thing here is Abby did what I couldn't, and the old fool finally died. What Medi couldn't. It's like it was Medi who did it. It was not Abby who did it. Abby just helped. I'm louder than the game. I'm trying to make the game louder. I hope it's louder now. Because it would be nice to hear the game too. Scream. KB sucks. Odd. We did what I couldn't. Ah, keyboard.
You're saying your boyfriend killed your husband, but it sounds to me like you did the real work.
Yes.
He mixed up some herbs, sure, but you were the one that had to sleep with the old man and get the poison in him.
Abby made sure I knew it was because of him that I was free. He said it could never have happened without him.
Well, Abby was wrong.
He didn't have to be brave to mix up a potion. I think the bravery was all you, Mitty. Don't disqualify the idea that the person who set you free was you.
You know, I think you're absolutely right, strange cowboy man. I did do all the work. But Abby never let me forget that he was the one who freed me. He wanted me to worship him.
Yes, because Abby was an asshole. Yes, some labeling.
A fella who demands to be worshipped is always going to be a dangerous man.
Dangerous men have always been drawn to me. Must be something about the way I am.
No.
So what happened after you killed Cormac?
The Neil clan came after me and Abby. They found him, took their swords and went, stab, stab, stabby, stabby, stab, stab, stab. But Abby just laughed. That's how I found out he was undead already. Gave me the willies.
Oh my. He was already a vampire.
When they couldn't kill Abby, they decided to kill me instead. And that made him very upset indeed, because I belonged to him.
That must have been terrifying.
Is Abby still alive? Or, well, unalive? What do you call that?
I suppose. Mostly hurt. Lots and lots. Getting stabbed is much fun when you're immortal.
I ain't too fond of it as a vampire neither.
Abby fed me his blood, though, and then I became like him. When I woke up, the Neil clan who tried to kill us were all properly dead. Well, almost dead. They still had a lot of blood left, and I was hungry.
Nice.
The Nail Clan was ever so cross, though. They captured Abby and sealed him in a tomb with some forgotten spells. He's still there, as far as I know.
What happened to you?
I didn't have a future with my tribe. I insulted both my clan and Cormac's clan by killing their chief. My only choice was to be alone. That's the wisest choice.
Only choice. Is this Nosferatu thinking?
That kind of all-or-nothing thinking could get us in trouble. If we think all is lost, we're liable to do things we wouldn't normally do. I know I did some stuff I regretted in them moments, and I sure wish I'd taken a breath and stepped back in all them times.
You sound so sad when you say that, funny cowboy man.
I'm all right. I'm just saying, you're a capable lady. You've always got more options than you think in a bad moment.
Oh, but you're just a child. I don't want you to be sad.
Well, let's focus on you, huh? You say you've been living alone ever since then?
Of course, my silly cowboy man. We aren't mortal anymore. We will always end up alone. Why waste my time?
I think this is also all or nothing thinking here. But there's also some disqualifying the positive. And maybe some control fallacy, since we will always end up alone, like as if that's an eventuality when there are people who you could try to connect with.
Come on, Mitty. You're distorting a lot of reality there. All vampires ain't lonely. Some of us choose to be, but not all of us. Sure, mortals have a habit of dying, but there will always be more of them. Not to mention all the vampires out there. Heck, I used to be in a vampire gang. Cult. Well, kind of both. They weren't good company, but they certainly weren't lonely. I mean, ain't we talking? Well, there's loads of vampires out there who think like you do, and they're fulfilling their own prophecies of loneliness.
You're being a mean little mouse now, and I don't like it very much. Maybe I should have killed you after all.
I'm trying to help you, Mitty. The world's changed a lot in the last 1800 years. A lot of it bad, but a lot of it good too. By and large, most people ain't burning witches and selling their daughters. That sort of thing's frowned upon by mortals these days. There are laws out there to protect folks now. It ain't like an old time.
May I tell you a story, little mouse?
Please do, Maddie.
All right, tell me a story.
Once upon a time, there was a very pretty young lady. Pretty, but also crazy. Like me.
I don't mean to interrupt your story so soon, but you didn't think I was going to let you get away with that one, did you? Don't call yourself crazy. You've been around way longer than I have. You gotta know that sanity is relative.
I know I'm crazy, though. Everyone tells me so, even my zealots. They like that I'm crazy.
You know, crazy ain't supposed to be a nice word. So why are you using it? Why are you creating a reality where what you are is crazy?
You are an annoying little mouse sometimes. Very well. I won't call myself crazy in front of you.
It's a start.
May I continue my story now? The pretty young lady Mary had moved in with her cousin, Mrs. Hultridge. At first they got along quite well. But one day, Mary started acting naughty. She would shout, act unladylike, and even say that Jesus Christ wasn't very special. Mrs. Hultridge liked Jesus Christ very much and wanted Mary to like him too. When she didn't, this embarrassed Mrs. Hultridge. She began to think something was wrong with Mary. After all, who didn't like Jesus Christ? Mrs. Hultridge said that Mary had begun to vomit up pins and buttons, nails, glass, and bits of wool. Instead of being grateful for the free gifts Mary was vomiting up, Mrs. Haltridge said that she had been attacked by 8 witches in spectral form.
Free gifts.
Now, it just so happened that all 8 of those witches lived very close to the town where Mrs. Haltridge lived. Despite their magical prowess, the 8 witches were captured and put into the stocks, and all the people of the town were told that the women did not like Jesus Christ at all. So the Jesus Christ-liking people threw rotten vegetables and poo at the witches. And, just for fun, they gouged out the eye of one of them.
Ugh.
Then they kicked the witches out of town and lived happily ever after. The end.
Well, that ain't a pleasant story.
Yep.
Oh, it was very unpleasant. It hurts very much to have your eye taken away, but I like my new eye. It's fun.
So that's why she has different colored eyes. It's not only for the presentation purposes.
I was 1500 summers old or so when that happened. The world hadn't changed much then. I don't think it's changed much now.
I'm sorry that happened to you, Meddy. You're right. Folk can be pretty awful when they get riled up. That ain't changed.
Oh, don't be sorry, little mouse. I like my new eye. Also, the story has a happy ending.
Oh yeah? What's that?
After I had my eye taken away, I took Mrs. Haltridge's parts away too, one by one until she died. It was so much fun.
Such an happy ending.
That's a little morbid, Meddy.
Morbid Mary? Oh, I like that. That's very clever, little mouse. But you see why I'm careful now?
Yeah, I get it. But look, there's one thing that's different now, and that's...
Let's believe in democracy.
Liberal democracy has fixed everything now.
It has fixed everything. Too late, sorry.
Oh, I don't follow temporal news. How has it fixed everything?
Well, we got elections and free market capitalism.
Do those fix things?
Actually, you know what? I was thinking of something else. We got the United Nations now. They make sure the world's got a code to follow.
If only we could trust in these things.
The United Nations has barely existed. As far as I know, it hasn't done much. And some countries are much stronger than others.
Well, yeah, but there's good intent.
Well,
and
at least
such.
there's the good intent.
You're not giving me much to be excited about, little mouse.
It's what we're doing right now. In all that time up till now, therapy ain't never existed. We only just started looking at ourselves in the way we think.
I think therapy has existed in some forms, but there hasn't been like serious research into that before modern times. So the quality of it has varied a lot more than it does these days. But I think it still has a long way to go.
Before recent times, we only looked at gods, government, and society. The self is a new frontier, and we're learning stuff we never considered before.
Is it a new frontier?
The frontier can be kind of scary, but being on that frontier means moving forward. Come with me.
silly mouse. If something feels scary, that means that there must be something to be scared of.
That red halo means there's some kind of fallacy here, but we don't have that fallacy.
I know you've been through a lot and you got damn good reasons for being careful. But there's a reason you came to me, right?
Yes, but it wasn't because I wanted to go outside. It's because of my fans. They're very demanding.
Right. That's why we were talking about your going for walks and went down this rabbit hole.
Do her fans want her to go outside?
Or, in your case, a mouse hole.
Anyway, therapy usually ain't about just one thing. It's about lots of things. If the problem is your fans, we gotta imagine unlife without them, right?
Don't want to lose them all. Some of them are gentle. They're too weak to hurt anyone, which is why they don't.
How do you know they are that gentle? Would this be overgeneralization or...
You really think weak people would hurt others if they were stronger?
Little mouse, I've been alive for a long time. I believe what my eye shows me. Yes, if one is capable of hurting another, they do.
They can, but they don't always. You ever seen them capybara animals?
Capybaras!
They're dang massive rodents and could do some damage if they wanted to, I reckon.
Oh, yes! Oh, they're very cute. People like to share animated pictures of them in my community.
Some folk are like that. They just want to sit around and have someone scratch their bellies.
Is that what you want, little mouse? Do you want me to scratch your belly?
What? No, I'm just saying, don't assume everyone's out to hurt someone. Yeah, it happens. Of course it does. But that kind of thinking ain't giving folks their fair shot.
Don't know what I'll do if I don't have my followers. I can't live the way I used to before the machines took over. Oh, they expect so much of me now. They send me messages all night and all day. They need content.
The dangers of being a content creator.
God, if I don't give them their content, they'll all leave. Attention spans are like those of little bugs, but they're not as cute.
If I don't give them their content, they'll all leave. That's like... kind of all or nothing thinking, and also a control fallacy, I think. The attention spans are like those of little bugs, but they are not as cute. There's some labeling there, but what should we go with here? Let's try Nosferatu thinking.
Okay, I think we need to talk about moderation.
Moderation is important.
Oh, I already have moderators, silly mouse. Any major content creator has to have them.
I don't know what that stuff means. I'm talking about moderation in your thinking. What if you gave your fans only what you felt comfortable giving?
Doesn't matter what I want, silly mouse. They just want me to overreact to video games.
Doesn't matter what she wants. Is this here overgeneralization? That it's like all they want? But there's that doesn't matter what she wants. But it matters. It really matters. I don't know, which one does it compete with? It's kind of like, yeah, it's like she doesn't feel like she has control over that. But she does. I don't know. It feels like this is wrong, but
Again, Medi seems to view her followers as cattle. Are all mortals so docile?
so it's just
Doesn't matter what
overgeneralization.
I want, silly
I'm
mouse.
disappointed.
They just want me to overreact to video games.
Mitty, you're thinking that mortals want only one type of content is forcing you to make only one type of content. Your assumptions are keeping you from doing things you like, and you deserve to do things you actually enjoy.
You're very kind. I thought cowboys were supposed to be tough.
Who says I ain't? I just don't have nothing to prove no more.
Midi, have you not seen the Brokeback Mountain?
Here, why don't we try something new for next time, since going out didn't go so well last time? I want to challenge you to take a day off. Don't answer any messages, don't post no content. Just do something for you and you alone. Take a sick day.
But we never get sick. We're dead people.
They don't know that, do they? One day, that's all I'm asking for. You need to give yourself a little space.
Very well. Since you've been a very kind mouse, I'll do it for you.
I'd prefer it if you did it for you, but we'll work toward that, huh?
Oh, I wish I had a big piece of cheese to give to you right now.
That would be nice.
A lactose intolerance is kind of a side effect of death, but I appreciate the sentiment. I'll see you in a month then, okay?
Is poor Sam also lactose intolerant? Oh no.
Yes.
Great. I'll see you then.
Bye.
You are doing well, my friend. I know we old ones can be rather inscrutable sometimes.
That smile.
She's human. We all are, ain't we? The way
She's
I see it, we
vampire,
all got
not
the same
human.
problems one way or another.
Your wisdom never fails to impress, Samuel. I believe it is time for you to follow your own advice to Miss Medi, however. All work and no play makes for a dull vampire, as they say.
Yeah, you're probably right. I might hit the hay early and do a bit of reading.
If you must take out some aggression on Hay, then please do so. I shall see you soon, my friend. Rest in peace.
Good night, Andy.
And that was Medi.
Dang, I wonder how I'll feel about humanity when I'm 1800. Heck, I wonder whether there'll even be a planet.
So, Medi's got real good reasons for not being fond of models, but it might be narrowing her worldview. Real bad history. Was sold to a rival warlord and killed by a wizard. I guess wizards are real now. Abandoned by her clan after she killed her new husband and became a vampire. Was pilloried as a witch in the 1700s and had her eye removed. She thinks it's pretty funny. Sounds disgusted by her followers. I'll try to encourage Medi to do more things she likes for their own sake and get outside more. That will be tough.
I guess it's time to drown my existential woes in blood.
Let's drown the woes in blood.
Howdy there, Crimson.
You're sounding a little weary there, cowboy. You getting enough to drink these nights?
Oh yeah, that ain't it. Just existential ponderings.
That's just my specialty. What's eating you, buckaroo?
It's this old client I got. She's been watching humanity hurting itself for 1800 years. Every time she expected better, she got hurt. She ain't wrong to mistrust mortals.
That's a tough one. What do you do with someone like that?
Well, I tried to guide her to look inward like I do with everyone. People are people, but so is she.
How do you think she took it?
I think she didn't really get it, but she was receptive.
I think she appreciated the focus on her. I can't answer for all humanity, but maybe she can get answers from herself.
I think you could stand to listen to yourself, Ranchero. You could have been a mean old Dracula, and nobody would expect anything different from you. Reckon there have always been people like you, no matter how bad it's been in history.
Dang, Crimson. I can see why Andy respects you so much. You done some living, sounds like.
Death at the door can put things into perspective. I get where your client is coming from. Changing the world isn't gonna happen, but we can at least change ourselves.
I don't think that's true. The country I left definitely ain't the country I was born in.
The wheels turn a little slowly for us mortals, cowboy. Back in DC, I was trying to push policy to do something about our poverty problem, but the kind gentlemen across the street were pretty happy to make things worse. When I got my cancer diagnosis, that was my wake-up call to stop getting disappointed and start living with the little amount of time I had left.
Working at a bar is more rewarding than being a member of the bar, huh?
Not bad, cowboy. It's got its charms. Here, I whipped up something special for you.
What is it this time?
That ain't half bad. Got a refreshing taste.
Rose hips. Just a little something extra. Been
Rose
experimenting with some herbals for Andy.
Well, imagine this is some herbs and blood. Not so delicious.
Guess old dogs like us can still learn new tricks. Thanks, Crimson. I think I'll hit the hay now.
You hit that hay, Desperado. I'll see you later.
Got a lot on my mind tonight. I think I need some rest. Now, what should I do to relax?
It's it's the picture he got last time from that actor. What's this? Reflect on the day with Emerson.
I always pick up a little extra perspective from Ralphie Waldo. Emerson, that is. Let's see if I can find a good passage. Bingo. In the woods is perpetual youth. Within these plantations of God, a decorum and sanctity reign. A perennial festival is dressed, and the guest sees not how he should tire of them in 1,000 years.
What does this mean? The woods is perpetual youth. Within these plantations of God, a decorum and sanctity reign. Perennial festival is dressed, and the guest sees not how he should tire of them in 1,000 years. So, is that about living?
In the woods, we return to reason and faith. There I feel that nothing can befall me. No disgrace, no calamity, leaving me my eyes, which nature cannot repair.
Return to reason and faith. There I feel that nothing can befall me in life. Feeling invincible? I don't know.
In the wilderness, I find something more dear and connate than in streets or villages. In the tranquil landscape, and especially in the distant line of the horizon, man beholds somewhat as beautiful as his own nature.
Is man's nature so beautiful?
Ain't that the truth? Future's always ahead, no matter how old we get.
Yeah. Until it isn't, but we are not living then.
That's enough for one night. Time to visit Dreamland. Maybe I'll see my princess there.
His horse.
Samuel, my dear, I do look forward to our chats. How are you feeling tonight?
How is Samuel feeling tonight?
I gotta confess, boss, I'm a little down. I love helping other vampires, but getting therapy myself sometimes ain't much fun.
Oh, is this a therapy session with Andy?
I understand. Looking in the mirror is difficult for any human, much more so when they don't cast a reflection.
Yes, it is very difficult if you don't have a reflection.
You ain't kidding. It just seems like there's always work to do, you know? Like my walking in the woods for 90 years wasn't nearly enough time.
I dare say you are correct. I believe that we must never cease our walking in the woods. There is no mystery deeper than that of our own existence.
Where do vampires come from anyway?
Ugh. Where do they come from? Fangs?
Well, Samuel, when two vampires love each other very much,
Then there won't be more vampires.
Come on, boss, that's not what I'm asking. Where do we come from?
the answer to that is much older than recorded history, my friend. But let us focus on you.
But Andy, you are older than recorded history. Or almost.
We should start with some meditation and determine what thoughts are most important to you right now. Close your eyes and envision your place of comfort.
Oh no, meditation. This is so difficult.
I ain't good at being a therapist. Is my hat weird?
How did it
Ich
work?
bin Sam. Ich bin ein cool man. Election looks real bad back home. Dr. Drain thinks I'm brain damaged. Why'd my mama have to marry that asshole? When's the sunrise? The Senora hates my guts.
No, she doesn't.
Sure wish you were still here, Jeb. Actors need help, that's for dang sure. Wish I had more book smarts. Bet he scares the heck out of me. You're an idiot, Sam, hurting all them folk. Why'd I join up with a gang in the first place?
How are you feeling, my friend?
Such disturbing thoughts.
Pretty good. I gotta say, my head's been a mess of thoughts lately. I think I was afraid of therapy today.
Why is that, my friend? What thoughts came up?
That kind of inspires me to want to meditate more. I should do that. Soon. Not on stream, of course, but... yeah.
Well, after last time, I think I was stewing a bit. Just being real angry at myself for joining that nasty cult in the first place.
They preyed on the vulnerable, as cults tend to do. If you had been a man of means with a robust support system, I doubt they would have noticed you.
Yeah, I know. And honestly, I'm mad about that too. I mean, my country did me real wrong and put me in that sorry state to begin with.
This sounds like a proverbial can of worms.
Yeah, you could definitely say that. After we talked last time, I kept thinking, what could I have done differently? And the answer amounts to horse shit. All that law-breaking I did, all that murdering and stealing and doing no good, that was my country failing me.
Let us slow down, Samuel. You are making a bit of a logical leap. I have great admiration and empathy for you, my friend, but it is disrespectful to those you hurt to blame anyone but yourself.
I mean, I guess I could have died. I suppose that would have been kinder, but that's a lot to ask a boy to do.
I am not suggesting that you should have died, and I do not suggest that your country was without fault. However, your country had its role, and you had yours. You are using a cognitive distortion called blaming. When we engage in blaming, we ignore or wipe away our own faults, attributing them to someone or something else.
Blaming. Blaming is kinda the opposite of personalization. Instead of everything being about us, we act like it's all about someone else. Yep, sometimes we are at fault and just don't want to admit we have some control. When we can't admit contributing to our own problems, we point the finger at someone else. And that's blaming and a distortion that needs fixing. Yes.
Our faults are precious, Samuel. We cannot be ourselves without them. Do not wipe them away.
I mean, I just wish things hadn't been the way they were. If my country had taken a better trail, maybe I would have turned out different.
Possibly.
Differently. I am sorry to interrupt, but Signora Deste might correct you less gently. Now then, perhaps it would help to put blaming into perspective. It is always humbling to see ourselves in the mirrors of our minds, is it not? Let's try some examples. See if you can tell when I am blaming. I turned into a bat the other day and flew right into a tree. Who put that tree there?
Blaming someone else or the tree for you being clumsy, that ain't gonna do anyone much good.
Who put that tree there?
I smacked into my fair share of trees back when I was a youngster, but that was definitely my fault.
Of course, there is no shame in being a novice flyer as a young vampire, but we can be insecure creatures. That's our humanity at work. I was unable to perform in bed with Crimson the other night. It must have been her fault.
Dang, that is some blaming. Takes two to tango, boss. Maybe there's some bad blood brewing between you two, and I wish I hadn't heard about it.
Were you serious, Andy?
Do not worry, my friend. Crimson and I bring each other great satisfaction.
Not sure if Sam wants to know more about that. But do we want to know more about that?
All right, I get it.
I said nothing lurid, Samuel. Why are you so distressed?
Singing great satisfaction. It's like hearing your parents talking about their sex lives. I mean, not that you're... I'll forget I said anything.
Oh, is Andy Sam's daddy?
All right, Samuel, let us move on. The interface on this widely used new vampire dating app is so modern. How do they expect anyone to use this cursed thing? We are trying to identify only the blaming distortion, Samuel. Please concentrate.
That disappointed face. It hurts.
The interface on this widely used new vampire dating app is so modern. How do they expect anyone to use this cursed thing?
Come on now, boss. Not every app out there is designed too good, but we can't expect machines to run themselves. That's some blaming right there.
You are correct, Samuel. It was only hypothetical, of course. I do endeavor to keep up with the times. By the way, thank you again for teaching me Control V and Control C the other night. What a delightful trick.
Sam really knew that trick. I'm impressed.
Oh yeah, way faster than going through the edit menu all the time.
You youngsters always find the latest tricks. Let's keep going, though. Did you see the football game the other night? My preferred team played with great skill and should have won. The referee was clearly an agent of the Dark Lord.
Is this blaming?
Now hold on, Andy. I think I saw the game you're talking about, and you're just blaming the ref for your team's mistakes. You got a great tight end, but one that plays a little dirty.
Excuse me?
I didn't mean it like that. Oh, heck, I can't talk right today.
It's quite all right. Isn't getting dirty the point of play? It is the fault of the cursed sun that we must live in darkness.
Sun's fault.
The sun can't help being the sun, so don't go blaming it. The way I see it, we got our place. That ain't nobody's fault.
Well done, Samuel. Perhaps the sun is even more brilliant in our memories, and seeing the real thing would spoil it.
Well, it definitely would spoil it for you because you would die.
Well, that's one way of thinking about it. I think I get it. I ain't trying to erase what I did. I'm just bitter that I felt like I had no choice at all. And it all goes back to the United States taking my daddy away for their manifest destiny.
Manifest destiny.
I'm mad at him too. Dying for his country. What kind of nonsense is that? How'd his country pay him back?
In no way.
By making my poor ma marry a drunk who beat the daylights out of her and his kids? Ain't no damn wonder I turned out the way I did.
That must have been devastating, Samuel. Countries are not human. They cannot feel, and stories such as yours prove it.
I mean, what the hell, Andy? My daddy's corpse didn't give a shit about no United States of America. It's kind of funny when you think about it. He died fighting the British so the U.S. could say they own Missouri. Who the fuck cares? I'm telling you, Andy, the best thing about being dead is realizing how little that nationalism crap matters.
Desire for identity can create monsters worse than we. What happened after your father died?
Well, we didn't have nothing. The money was running out, so my ma got married to a hard man who drank even harder. He beat up my older brother, Jeb, for fun. And once Jeb started fighting back, dear old stepdad came for me. And that's when my brother killed him.
It sounds like a tragedy from my own country's mythology. I am sorry that such a thing happened to you, Samuel. Your brother was brave.
No kidding. We went on the run together, but he was the one who kept us alive and fed, mostly through stealing and begging. Once we stopped being cute, begging didn't work anymore, so we moved up to robbing and killing. Killed my first man at 12, and then it got a little too easy.
That is young. I cannot imagine how difficult that must have been, Samuel. My country asked me to kill at 20, and I still remember how devastating it felt.
Yeah, well, nobody told me to do it. Like you said, that was all me. I don't think anyone was surprised either. When my brother and I rode into a town, you should have seen the way people looked at us. They knew we were trouble, and we were determined as hell to prove them right.
Aha, a moment, Samuel. I believe this is an opportunity for some growth.
It's them distortions again, huh?
To err is human, as they say. Do not be discouraged. There is something in what you just said that you cannot be sure of. Can you tell me what it is?
No se myös niitä no. I think this is maybe the correct answer, but but
You ain't saying nationalism is a good thing, are you?
I am over 3,000 years old, Samuel. I have seen every great nation die. What do you think?
Well, it ain't that then. Is it that I stopped being cute?
Well, yes, that is certainly a distortion. My patrons have told me they find you adorable.
I bet they do.
But I was looking for a different distortion.
I guess there ain't no way of knowing that people thought we were trouble.
That's right, Samuel. There is one way of knowing exactly what they were thinking, and that would be to read their minds. Thus is the cognitive distortion called mind reading. Yes, we can weigh evidence and make predictions, but never with complete certainty.
Mind reading. We are going to learn that.
I was a dirty little thieving murderer. I don't blame him for judging me.
Oh, Sam. Labeling.
First, that's labeling. Second, one of those people might have been patient and gentle, one that had an experience like yours. You cannot know. With your mind reading, do you see how you made everyone your enemy?
Yeah. You're right. You're damn right.
No one expects a child to be perfectly aware of themselves and the world, Samuel. Remember, start with compassion for yourself.
Also, Samuel, remember that you are always a child to Andy.
Here, let us do an exercise to help you recognize mind reading. Jesus Christ would have disliked the idea of anal intercourse.
I guess that is mind reading.
I know that's mind reading right there. Unless you asked Jesus Christ himself and he told you, there's no way you'd know how he feels about butt sex.
Very good, Samuel. Many in my time have claimed to know the mind of Jesus Christ, and none of them have ever even met him.
You were there when he was kicking around. You ever meet him?
No, that part of the world was never really vampire-friendly.
Do Sonny?
The chair you're sitting in is one of his, though. Magnificent, isn't it?
What?
Jesus Christ made this chair?
I bought it cheaply before he became a big deal. He was certainly ahead of his time as a carpenter.
Stretch. And very, very believable. It's a good stretch. It's good to stretch. I might go swimming again tomorrow morning, and after that I will be so stiff again.
Dang. Now I feel awkward sitting in this thing.
It's more than 2,000 years old, Samuel. It is still just a chair and has experienced millennia of past wind. Don't worry about it.
Millennia of past wind.
Crimson is upset with me because I forgot to take out the garbage. I know because she told me so.
Well, that's not mind reading. She told you so.
I sent my friend Vlad an internet message, and he left it on read. He must hate me.
That is mind reading.
That's some mind reading for sure. There's no way you know what Vlad's thinking. Maybe he wasn't ready to answer, or maybe he forgot.
Excellent, Samuel. That's correct. There are endless reasons why Vlad would leave my messages unread, and only Vlad knows them. Reading too much into an internet message is a massive waste of time.
Indeed.
The Pony Express was a lot healthier, I think. This internet stuff makes people get real nutty.
Mortals are in more of a rush than we are, I'm afraid. Let us continue. One of the patrons of my club was having dirty thoughts about me. I know because I read his mind with my vampiric powers.
Well, that is mind reading, but that's not the mind reading.
I told our bouncer Bert a funny joke the other day. He was quiet, but very amused.
Is that mind reading or not? Or is that just interpreting his expressions, or I don't know. Let's see.
How the heck would you know if Bert was amused by your jokes? That's clearly mind reading.
You are correct, Samuel. No one knows what Bert is thinking.
Only Bert knows.
I like to think he dreams of butterflies. But who can say?
I don't think he's thinking of butterflies.
Then you are mind reading, Samuel. Let Bert be Bert.
Let him think about butterflies, Samuel.
Yeah, I guess so.
I believe you now understand that mind reading may have closed the door on some opportunities for you.
I suppose. I can't really know either way, but I guess that's the point of all this. Knowing what's real and what's not.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, Samuel. So tell me, what happened to you and your brother?
You don't know already. I thought we were famous Wild West outlaws. They called us the Handsome Boys on account of the fact that we were young and good looking. I think we made as close to a living as possible while keeping up a life like that for some 35 years.
You couldn't have been young for that long.
They stopped calling us the Handsome Boys eventually. Mostly they just called us those two sumbitches. Jeb and I married a pair of sisters, even talked about settling down in some kind of fashion.
A pair of sisters? Ugh.
I guess we got greedy though. One last big job, as they say in the pictures. Met this fella in a saloon who'd heard of us. Went by Ernie. He said he'd help us take down the Pioneer Missouri Bank. A take of $30,000, split 3 ways. That's about $1 million in today's dollars, but that kind of money was unthinkable back when. We got the money all right, but my brother got shot in the head. Dead before he even hit the ground. I didn't know who did it, so in my rage, I killed every soul in that bank. Ernie and I ran off with that dirty money, but weren't nothing the same after that. When she heard the news, my sister-in-law was screaming Solaci scared the coyotes away. My wife left with her that night, and I didn't see either of them ever again. Not sure I wanted to. I had $15,000 and no interest in spending it. Just sat there in a sack. When Ernie invited me to join his gang, I saw no reason not to. I'm pretty sure I signed that devil's contract as soon as I started killing them folks in the bank.
I am sorry, Samuel. That is a truly horrifying story. I can hear the pain in your voice. Your brother was precious to you.
Brothers usually are.
Yeah. He wasn't a good man, Andy. But he kept me safe. Without him, I knew I'd be doomed. I was certain I had no choice but to join the Mystic Bastards. Yeah, I know. Cognitive distortion.
I know you know, Samuel. A new one, but I think you can identify it on your own. What is the cognitive distortion you are displaying now?
This must be the one. So it wasn't that much money.
I guess $15,000 wasn't all that unthinkable back in my time.
Hoarded wealth is not uncommon, but incorrect math is not a cognitive distortion, my friend. I speak of your certainty of doom. Try again.
He straight out said. What?
Well, maybe my brother wasn't that bad a man.
Good and bad are both often inaccurate extremes, but it is a new distortion I am trying to help you identify, not Nosferatu thinking. Think again.
I was so sure I was right to join the Mystic Bastards. Ain't nobody could have convinced me otherwise.
Indeed, Samuel. This cognitive distortion is known as being always right. And when you are always right, your choices are limited, even if they lead to doom.
Which option leads to kissing Andrew Nagas? Sadly, I think it's only the fan art option. Maybe I will have to do that kind of fan art. But a new distortion. Always right. We all get things wrong sometimes, and we all know it. But in the heat of the moment, we might get so worked up, we feel everything we say is correct. We might double down on opinions, or even reject opposition first thing. In these moments, all our beliefs feel always right. Disagreements have nuance, and although we might get a lot right, we are not always right.
We become so convinced that only we have the appropriate perspective. Even in a world of infinite possibilities, one would expect immortals to be immune to this distortion after seeing their beliefs challenged over generations. But we are just as susceptible to being always right. Let's try some examples so you can identify when I am always right.
But aren't you always right?
I have the experience of ages. My authority cannot be questioned.
Is that it?
Okay, Boomer.
Excuse me?
Just something I hear the kids say when old mortal folk are acting like they're always right. The folks born after World War II are real good at destroying the world, but they assume age leads to wisdom. It ain't necessarily so.
You are always right about that. Well done, Samuel. With my multi-generational economic expertise, I am confident that market conditions will result in mass layoffs in the next quarter.
Is that always right? Strobing. Damned. I don't see like anything on my OBS. Is it still doing that? Need some paper, some more water. I guess it's over. Okay. I hope you don't have to suffer of such distortions to my streams.
Hold on, you can't know the layoffs are gonna happen after the next financial quarter.
So it wasn't.
I did not say that I was certain, just that I had earned confidence in my prediction. Modern stock markets are run by a cabal of dark cultists, and one can make educated predictions about their behavior.
So this is canon.
Wait, are you serious?
Yes, they sacrifice all to the dark god of ever-increasing profit. You should know this, Samuel. Their dark gospel reigns supreme in your land.
Well, that's true.
Oh, right. I guess I never thought as institutional investment bankers as dark cultists, but you're right. That's exactly what they are.
Mm-hmm.
If only they had chosen a more ethical god than unrestrained capitalism. I know that turning another into a vampire inevitably results in resentment.
That sounds like you're always right. I know a lot of us vampires ain't too happy with our lot in life, but we ain't always resentful.
Mm-hmm.
That is correct, Samuel. Of course, we must be careful when choosing whom we turn and when. Choosing to live forever is not a choice casually made.
Yes, if you have the option.
It ain't usually a choice at all.
But we will endeavor to break that cycle, my friend. We have enough clients already without having more resentful immortals running around. Let us continue. I know for a fact that vampires become misanthropic as they age. I do not need your perspective.
And now hold on, you ain't always right. You thinking we're gonna turn into misanthropes is limiting you from making new vampires, but that's just your thinking.
Very good, my dear Samuel. Caution is warranted when bringing a new soul into the dark, but I must consider perspectives other than my own.
But vampires turning into misanthropes, it's like... Medi is kind of one, but Andy doesn't seem to be one. So we have examples here too.
I have not had much good fortune with my children of darkness, but I am indeed not the only judge of character.
You got kids, Andy?
I had many dark children before I recognized the gravity inherent in doing so. I only wish more of my brethren could learn what a responsibility it is to begin the unlife of another. I know the internet is a passing fad. I have seen technology come and go, so I can trust my own expertise.
I think you're doing a little always right there, Andy. A lot of folks had unwavering confidence that the fax machine was gonna stick around forever, but they weren't right neither.
Fax message.
Truly? I still use my fax machine. It is the preferred mode of communication among vampires here in Germany.
Well, vampires. Old people.
Heck, I guess that just proves no one is always right about technology. I think I get it, boss. If I had found folks to listen to, other than myself, maybe I wouldn't have joined up with Ernie's gang.
Perhaps, perhaps not. You had plenty of reasons for making the choices you made. Reflecting on them is what helps us to grow.
Yeah, I'm a lucky fella all in all. I did some stuff with those vampires that I was pretty sure erased any humanity I had left. But I was wrong. Them transcendentalists I hold up with were ready to help me no matter how nasty I was. And I know I've done a lot of thinking on my own, but I owe them everything.
I've done a lot of thinking on my own, but I owe them everything. Is that so, Samuel? Can you point out your own distortion there?
It's my old favorite sneaking up on me, disqualifying the positive.
Yes.
I did plenty of work on myself.
That's right, Samuel. And why were the transcendentalists able to help you? We just went over it tonight.
I wasn't assuming they thought I was scum, which would have been mind reading. I let them help me.
Excellent, Samuel. Your capacity for self-reflection, and so quickly, is truly inspiring. I almost feel as though my blood is circulating on its own.
Oh, come on, Andy. I'm just a fella.
You have earned a reprieve from disqualifying the positive, my friend. Embrace it. I believe we have had a productive session today. Let us not press matters. This is difficult work, and you are handling it wonderfully. How do you feel?
You know, I feel okay. Somehow it's better than feeling good. What happened is what happened. Some bad stuff happened to me, and I did some bad stuff. None of it lasts forever. That's the nice thing about having all the time in the world.
Your trials have made you wise indeed, my dear Samuel. Now rest, my friend. You shall soon share your wisdom with your clients. I wish you a good night.
Rest in peace, Andy.
Yeah, I believe it's early coffin time for me tonight. Have a good night, Andy.
You as well, Samuel. Rest in peace. Samuel, greetings. You look a bit pale. May I offer you something to drink?
It's been a hell of a month. I've got a full caseload of clients. I'm picking up new friends at Immernacht, and Andy says I've been doing a great job. I learned 3 more cognitive distortions tonight, and I think I'm really getting the hang of this thing. I'm also learning a lot about Crimson. There's something special about that lady. I can see why Andy's a fan of hers. Seems like she could be doing a lot more than running a bar, but maybe that's me doing some shoot statements. Oh, I took a little trip to Dresden. Heck of a place. They had this emperor named Augustus the Strong, who spent all Germany's money on porcelain. I wish I could have been his therapist.
Yeah, you got any drinker's blood?
And this session, whatever session is going to be here, is going to be the last one for the night.
I know you are joking. You will not dilute your blood before a session.
Yeah, I know, you're right. I just don't know who I'm meeting tonight. Is it gonna be Dr. Drain or that Lord Luridus fella?
You only met a single individual last time, and you will meet only a single individual this time.
Indeed.
Do not let Dr. Drain's avoidance of accountability confuse you.
You saw the guy, though. Lord Luridus ain't nothing like Dr. Drain.
And why do you think that is, Samuel?
Demon. I want to know what he says.
I don't know. I guess Lord Luridus is some kind of demon, like in Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
No, Samuel. I have walked this earth for 3,000 years, and I am confident that demonic possession is not a thing. Think again. Why would Dr. Drain's alter ego be so objectionable?
Opposites attract, I guess. Wouldn't make sense to have Dr. Drain turn into Dr. Drain again.
I do not think that Dr. Drain is attracted to Lord Luridus. The two seem to dislike each other quite a bit. Why would Dr. Drain develop a personality that he dislikes?
Fine. Let's get serious again.
Well, maybe it's easier for Dr. Drain to blame Lord Luridus.
Correct, Samuel. A mild change in personality would be within Dr. Drain's control. Luridus is not, and therefore, Dr. Drain relinquishes control. Prepare yourself, my friend. Let us find the darkness that lives within Dr. Drain.
Can we handle Dr. Drain? Dr. Drain and Lord Luridus. Last time we had to take our guns out. Yeah, shoots. There's always right. There's... What else is there? Let's take labeling because it's nice and easy. Kinda. Oh, let's take blaming. What else should we take? How about disqualifying the positive? Let's take this.
All right, I think I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Do not fear, Samuel. I shall not let Dr. Drain hurt you, no matter what he is calling himself. Do what you do best.
Thank you, Andy, for protecting me.
I will, I promise. And here he comes, whoever he is today. Doc.
It's Drain.
Somewhat taciturn today, then. Well, don't be upset with me. I did warn you about that beast. At least now you recognize the urgency in being rid of him.
Being rid of him? No, you need to absorb him.
Perhaps now we can stop beating about the bush and actually fix my addiction problem.
I'm here to help, but if we're gonna lick this thing, we gotta do it honestly, and that means getting to the root of the problem.
I tire of this self-examination process. There must be something efficacious that I can do. Perhaps some sort of aversion therapy. I am willing to do whatever it takes to make that villain just go away.
He sounds like a prime candidate for some not very ethical people to suggest questionable therapy methods and such.
Then you gotta be willing to address the big old elephant in the room.
And what is that?
Lourides ain't that bad. Lourides is kinda hot. No. Let's be serious. We need to cure this poor Dr. Drain.
You and Lord Lourdes ain't two different people. You keep talking about him like he's someone else, but you both got the same brain in there.
Complete and utter nonsense. You've met him. We share absolutely nothing in common. And what's more, I am fully aware that he hates me. Take a look at this note he left on my desk.
That's supposed to be you there with the micropenis?
I was like, what if... They have the same body. They are the same person.
Indeed. Juvenile humor, to be sure. Certainly nothing I would produce.
Ain't he got the same penis, though?
Indeed.
Quite so. I have no doubt he does the most terrible things with it.
So somehow he's got a different brain than you do, but the same penis. Something ain't adding up here, Doc.
I resent what you are suggesting. I have no effect on what Lord Lourdes does.
I have no effect. Is that blaming?
I know you're a pretty responsible fella, but you're giving Lord Lourdes more credit than he deserves.
What on earth are you talking about?
You know that old stereotype mortals like to spread about us where we can't go into a place until we're invited?
A ludicrous idea with no basis in scientific truth.
Ain't you giving Lord Lourdes your permission to come in and do what he does when you take that plasma stuff?
I didn't invite him in the first time. I had no idea what I had created. That his presence would become an addiction was not known to me.
Dr. Drain, you're a scientist. Your stock and trade is in facts, ain't it? Let's leave thought out of this for now. You gotta be my scientist here and stick to what we know.
Very well. Yes. The genesis of Lord Lourdes was in the actions and choices I took. Are you quite satisfied?
Doc, we ain't here for my satisfaction. Do you really think that?
Well, the fact that I am upset right now certainly lends credence to the idea that you are trying to shame me.
That's the... What was the... distortion. It was the emotional thing. It's the emotional reasoning. Emotional reasoning is when we act like our feelings represent reality. But no matter how unhappy we are, feelings alone don't define the world.
I won't lie to you, Doc. The people that Lord Luridus has hurt probably would have a bone to pick with you. But I ain't here to punish nobody. That ain't the way to help you. In this room, we're working together. You're doing the hard work, and I'm just giving you support. Catch my drift, partner?
And so you do me even greater shame through kindness. I cannot win. Perhaps I should simply let that beast, Lord Luridus, have his way with me.
Should.
Come on now, Doc. You're jumping right to doom there. There's so many ways this therapy thing could go for you. It ain't we destroy Lord Luridus or Lord Luridus wins. Jumping right to catastrophe just ain't realistic. Already you're fighting him by being here. That means there's definitely something in the middle. And working together, we'll make things better. Maybe not completely better. This work ain't never done.
Of course, I am forgetting myself. I'm not usually prone to extremes. I shall attempt to be more mindful.
I ain't expecting you to be perfect, Doc. And I don't want you to expect perfection from yourself either. What I'm asking you for is self-compassion. That ain't erasing blame. It's just approaching yourself from a place of understanding. That's a scientific method, ain't it?
Well, kinda.
I doubt many in the scientific community would agree with such a statement, but I believe I understand the thrust of it. We cannot address facts if we mask them in emotionality.
Indeed.
That's exactly it, Doc. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Indeed. Thus my attempt to synthesize the thought properly.
Well, thank the dark powers that made us. Someone in here's the smart one.
Very well. We shall take a strategic, scientifically sound approach. We will agree upon facts, develop hypotheses, test, and validate. If I rely on the science, I will never be wrong.
Hold on a sec. Before we jump in, Doc, I gotta challenge you. Even science ain't gonna make it certain you're always right. The answers science gives you might not be the answers that are best for you. I just want you to keep your mind open, all right?
My mind is always open. I'm a scientist.
It's not a guarantee, unfortunately.
I'm just gonna reflect that back to you and see if you think that's true. You're saying being a scientist means your mind is always, without fail, open.
Well, I suppose that sounds a bit ridiculous. Very well. I shall endeavor to ensure that my thinking is flexible.
Well, sounds good to me, compadre. Let's start assembling them facts. Can I ask you some questions then?
You may. Let us begin.
All right, so you told me that the thing that makes your plasma addicting is how good it makes you feel when you wake up from it. From your scientific perspective, what makes it feel good?
From a chemical perspective, good feelings, or positive emotions, are the result of neurotransmitter action. Considering the specific emotions felt in the immediate moment are contentment and satisfaction, it is certain that I am experiencing an oxytocin and dopamine release. It is a primal limbic response. In laboratory settings, we observe a constant drive in animals towards stimulating the release of amygdala-receptive neurotransmitters.
I think you're gonna need to boil that down for me, Doc.
I did not come here to teach, but so be it. Ask your questions.
This is the most relevant question of them all, but tell us about the limbic system.
Well, what's the limbic system do?
The limbic system functions as the emotional center of the brain, responsible for emotional responses such as joy, fear, and anger.
So it's like the part of my brain deciding if I should be scared of a rattlesnake or happy about a belly full of blood?
Precisely. It plays a crucial role in forming memories and making decisions based on emotional experiences. Often called the lizard brain, it's evolutionarily one of the older parts of the brain, indicating its fundamental role in regulating survival instincts.
I've been called lizard brain before, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't a compliment.
Oh, tell us about the neurotransmitters.
What's this about neurotransmitters?
Neurotransmitters are chemical messengers that neurons use to communicate with each other. For example, social bonding reliably triggers a release of oxytocin, creating a sense of security and attachment.
So if I'm reading you right, when I'm feeling all snug after a good feed, is them oxytocin neurotransmitters doing their thing?
Exactly. This process is an integral part of our brain's reward system, encouraging behaviors that are perceived as beneficial for our survival and well-being.
So survival feels good, basically.
Yes, though I would not publish such a statement in an academic paper.
So, let's get back on track.
So what's all this stuff really mean in the end, Doc? Why's this neurotransmitter stuff even matter?
An intriguing question. Naturally, emotion does not have a practical evolutionary application on its own. However, these emotions signal to the reptilian brain whether or not we are under threat.
Oh, well, dang, now I think we're getting somewhere. I think the answer's right in front of us.
Oh? And what is it that your rooting, tooting brain can synthesize that mine cannot?
In little psyche. Yes, and he needs to live in the woods. That's so Sam thinking.
You don't feel safe on your own. Taking that plasma forces you to get that neurotransmitter hit.
An intriguing theory. However, evidence stands against it. Like it or not, I am a vampire. The only thing that may threaten me is the sun or a more powerful vampire. I should not be experiencing feelings of mortal danger. I am not immortal. Logically, I should know such a thing is ridiculous.
There's them should statements again, Doc. It doesn't matter what logic says. You still got that part of your brain that says it's in danger, and that part doesn't care about logic.
An astute point, and an inconvenient one. That we should be saddled with such vestigial, primal concerns is most unfortunate.
Can't avoid the fact that we still got them human concerns. At least we don't gotta poop, huh?
Oh dear, and you are doing so well. At least I have nothing to fear from you.
Yeah, nor his poo.
It's true, though. We're still animals, partner. We gotta satisfy the animal. Just not through pooping.
But we are immortal. Why do we have animal needs, fears, and emotions? What possible use do they have?
Is this disqualifying the positive?
Sometimes, Doc, you are just too smart for your own good. You're logicking away all the good things about being human. I mean, let's say we freed ourselves from those biological concerns. Got rid of all them fears and insecurities and quirks. Why are we doing anything then? I don't know about you, Doc, but I don't want to turn into a computer. All them great discoveries and works of art came from our humanity.
Perhaps it is so. Do you know, I met Isaac Newton several times. The young fellow was motivated indeed, but it was his human vindictiveness that made him so effective. All those motherfuckers who called me a nerd are going to pay, mark my words, he would say. Or something along those lines.
So, he was making sure none of those motherfuckers could hurt him.
That was certainly part of it. It was not just the love of science that drove the man. It is such a disappointing notion, however, to think that we cannot transcend our reptilian brain, even when we are beyond death.
It is sad.
We're dealing in facts, though, and I think what we're coming to is that your reptilian brain doesn't feel safe.
Which is absolutely ridiculous, but I must admit that it is somehow true. What a devastating revelation. Dr. Drain, for all his scientific achievement, is just an emotional little laboratory rat who bases all his decisions in fear.
Poor thing. That's so much labeling.
Man, you just jump right to that extreme. You're probably the smartest fella I ever met, Doc. You ain't a science god, but who is? I think there's a lot of room between being a lab rat and being the perfect logical being.
You are, of course, correct. I am letting my emotions get the better of me. Most unscientific.
Yes, it is most unscientific.
Doc, I want to go back to one of them things I was telling you about in our first session, and that's self-compassion. Let's say you had some vampire apprentice, a scientist like you, who didn't know nothing like what you know, and said they were down on themselves for all the reasons you are. What would you say to them?
Well, I would explain that progress is non-linear. The scientific method, in fact, celebrates failure. That which does not conform to theory still informs theory.
Any chance you could put the scientist away and talk to their human side?
Well, I suppose I would say that it is fine, that all things are temporary, and the universe does not care to condemn them.
How reassuring.
So how can we get you to say them things to yourself, Doc?
My situation is not the same. I was trained in the age of discovery. I bear the responsibility for that age.
Responsibility. Is that one of those controller? distortions.
What if this project of mine, to create the blood that will sustain the world, is not what I am here for? Then what is my purpose?
Do you need a purpose like that?
Well, let me ask you. What's the purpose of a gopher?
Rodentia, Geomedae. Rodents endemic to North America, known for their tunneling ability and as agricultural pests. I believe they are the prey of owls, snakes, and coyotes, and are omnivorous themselves, consuming vegetables, insects, and small mammals.
I wasn't expecting you to be so thorough. I don't think I knew half that stuff.
I have come to learn nearly everything there is to know about mammalian biology as a result of my research. Please get to the point.
I think I forgot what it was now.
That is not encouraging.
Hold on a sec, I think I've got it.
I just want to say this.
Gophers are real cute, with their little hands and all. They might be vermin, but they're pretty adorable.
So you are suggesting what? That I am cute vermin?
Yes.
Oh, no, nothing like that. I was just trying to lighten the mood.
By making me want to pull my own hair out?
Indeed.
Oh, wait, that wasn't it. The thing about gophers is... Well, see, you're kind of like a gopher.
Am I now? Pray tell, how am I like a gopher?
Well, you live underground, and you're real alert all the time.
And?
And, that's it.
Science, save us.
Hold on, I think I remember now. Gophers have a purpose. Driving people crazy, that's what. Used to wreak havoc on the farmland back in Missouri.
Absolutely ridiculous. That is not their purpose. It's an ill-informed anthropocentric philosophy defined and subscribed to entirely by said anthropocentrists.
I didn't know bugs could do that.
Anthropocentrists, not arthropods. Humans. Homo sapiens. I am saying that you have created a purpose for the gopher that the gopher is entirely unaware of.
So, who made your purpose, Dr. Drain?
What? Well, I did, I suppose.
Indeed.
So if you made it, you can change it, right?
But how could I change my purpose? I have always been a scientist. So that's what I am.
Another distortion that we don't have.
All right, well, let's take that scientific approach and try to figure out who the man behind the scientist is.
Very well. If we look at the behavior of our subject, myself, we can infer a few things.
Like, he's like a gopher.
If we examine my behavior, one can draw comparison to a threatened higher-thinking mammal. I spend much time in ensuring personal safety and security.
What about your more peaceful moments? What do they look like?
I believe these feelings are only medically induced through my special plasma. However, Dr. Drain appears to be at rest when he is full and satisfied.
And your synthetic blood doesn't do that for you.
I am forced to admit that at present, it does not.
Dr. Drain, what do you think of drinking something a little more fresh and human?
I will not. I do not have to. That depraved vampire, Lord Lyridus, is the source of all that is base and vulgar about my person.
No.
Doc, you're blaming Lord Lyridus for something common to all vampires, including yourself. We need blood. That's just how it is. Ain't Lord Lyridus's fault. Now, I know you ain't comfortable with that need, but you can't offload everything you ain't happy with onto Lord Lyridus. That just makes him worse.
You have not been listening to me at all if you believe I have absolved myself of all vampiric frailty.
I didn't say that. I'm saying you're distancing yourself from your needs by saying they're Lord Lyridus's needs. Well, what if you indulge Lord Lyridus once in a while? Maybe you could keep him from coming out.
Do you not understand what I have been working toward for the last 400 years? I will finally be able to transcend this thing that I am. I shall be a parasite no more.
Parasite. This thing that I am. black and white today. Hello, Emperor. Yeah.
Impulse First just resubscribed for 4 months. 4 more to come.
Thank you. And it's already been 4 months. That's incredible. How are you doing? Going to have an art stream tonight?
Come on, Dr. Drain, what you are ain't a parasite. Look what you've done with your time here.
Yes. Slowly getting less anxious about those. That's great. There's no reason to be anxious about doing art. You're doing well.
Oh, forgive me for wanting to transcend the lifestyle of a female mosquito.
Well, heck, maybe you wouldn't be so keen to transcend if you didn't call yourself them names. We all gotta consume to live, Bronco. Ain't no such thing as a perpetual life machine.
Gotta consume some blood.
I believe you are trying to invoke the first law of thermodynamics.
Does Sam know the laws of thermodynamics?
Refresh my memory.
He doesn't.
Energy cannot be destroyed or created in an isolated system. It can only be transformed.
Oh, yeah, that's basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, he is saying that.
Well, it is a salient point, I must admit.
Dr. Drain, we really gotta talk about some kind of middle path here. Back home, we tried the whole abstinence thing a few times, and it didn't go too well. We tried to stop drinking, and that just made people only do bad drinking.
Mm-hmm.
We tried telling teenagers sex was evil, and that just made them want it even more while being ashamed of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
What if you just tried to do some of them things Lord Luridus does? Just don't do them the way he does.
I find the idea utterly repellent.
Of course he does.
Yeah, but then you go and take that plasma, and Lord Luridus makes the decisions. We don't want that, right?
Fine. Fine. I'll drink some blood.
He promised.
But I warn you, Sam, the price of failure is most dear. If I should lose my humanity, all of humanity will lose.
That's another distortion there.
We need to go back to this thing I brought up before. You're a smart fella, Dr. Drain, but sometimes you're forgetting vampire commonality. We've all felt like the world was ending, or that we're awful monsters. But them feelings are our perceptions alone.
And also, Dr. Train could just have some blood here at Andy's bar, and it wouldn't even be... He wouldn't even need to kill anybody for that or anything.
Yes, I'm aware. Perhaps I've been a little too human in my foibles. However, you forget my training in history. I am not an average vampire. I was trained by the great Professor William Harvey.
Yes, you are very impressive, Dr. Train.
I have had 4 centuries to unlock the secrets of animal biology. I have a duty to humanity and to my own legacy. A duty I should not fail in. Otherwise, what was it all for?
Hold your horses there, amigo. You say you've got a duty to humanity? Well, that ain't scientific at all. It ain't just anthropocentric, it's Dr. Drain-centric. Nobody said you had to do anything.
My stream doesn't die tonight. Oh yeah, you had those problems. I'll keep my fingers crossed that your internet will be just fine.
Remember when we first started talking, I told you about them should statements? That's what you're doing, compadre. Just remember that them shoulds are yours.
Yes, I must be frustrating to you, Sam. I invoke the same delusions over and over again.
Oh, but Dr. Train, you are way more frustrated by yourself than Sam is by you.
Hey, come on, Doc. You should be proud of yourself. You know what the difference is between you and vampires who never improve themselves? You're here. You've made a commitment to getting your head on straight, and you're getting there, my friend. Already you're making some big changes and investing in yourself. I can see it. So let's cut Dr. Drain a break. How about it, amigo? He doesn't need the weight of the world on him.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one thing he should do, and that's have a little understanding and empathy for himself. You get me?
Yes, I get you. Very well. I shall try to keep a clear head. And I will arrange to drink some real blood. There's plenty of it in the lab. I shall just liberate some of it.
How did the cowboy get into this situation again? Well, we have learned by playing this game that he used to be a criminal, a horrible criminal, and then some evil vampires made him a vampire. Those evil vampires were a group of criminal vampires called the Mystic Bastards. But then he lived in the woods. He didn't want to go on after they killed Princess. I'm not sure. Princess was his horse. But you want me to sing too? Then he met some transcendentalists in the woods. And those made him the man he is today, kinda. And he had some correspondence with Andromachus, who is kind of his mentor or something, another vampire. And he wants to make other vampires be better, like he became better. So he's a therapist now, or learning to be a therapist. And well, Andromachus immediately just started throwing these customers for him. A song. What should I sing? Well, I should start keeping a list of songs next to my PC or somewhere, so that I don't always immediately draw blank when when this comes up. What do we have? I might have something linked up in my phone. Do I have any lyrics here? Oh, I do. Just a little song. It's a solstice one. Even though that has passed. But here goes. I had a little shortcut I conjured up one day. I had used an elder sigil, so shortcut and I play. Shortcut, 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 with mods and pseudopods. Shortcut, 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 fall creature of the gods. One day while we were playing, my monster spell broke free. I had dropped the elder sigil, little Shoggy turned on me. Shortcut, 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 he ripped me to a shred. Shortcut, 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 we played and now I'm dead. There goes. You're welcome. The prettiest song of them all. It was the only one I had at hand. I'll do better next time. Thank you. That's a relief.
Good man. We'll talk about how it's gone next month, all right?
Indeed. Until then, Sam. And thank you for your patience.
I ain't got nothing but time, amigo. You can thank me by being patient with yourself.
All the same, you have my thanks. I shall see you in a few weeks then. Farewell.
Farewell, Dr. Train.
Well done indeed, Samuel. I think we are starting to see a new version of the good doctor in the making.
That was a flawless session. I got the achievement. Finally. After all these sessions.
I hope you're right, boss. That fella's awful hard on himself.
He is.
That is normal, my friend. Being a vampire takes a lot of self-acceptance. He is only taking his first steps in discovering this.
Yeah, fair enough. It took other people forgiving me for me to forgive myself.
And now you pass on this gift of compassion to Dr. Drain. Now, Samuel, the evening is still young. See what the night has to offer downstairs.
Some blood.
That sounds good, Andy.
I hope it's not the weird eye lady.
Rest in peace, my friend.
I always come out of the doc sessions feeling dumber than ever.
Poor thing. Session 3 for Dr. Train. Great session with the Doctor Knight. Sometimes his being a big old nerd can be a real help. He's looking at his problem more rationally now. He likes to blame Lord Luridus for his more animal needs. That is, he denies his own needs and Luridus fulfills them. Has a lot of his identity tied up in being a rational scientist. Wants to transcend being a vampire. Must drink real blood. I encourage the doctor to drink some real blood. I think his head ain't clear because he's starving. I think he gets that it's a biology thing. Yes. He kind of turns into a, well, Jekyll and Hyde style monster.
I'll check in with Crimson. She's always got some bartender's wisdom to share. Howdy, Crimson. Looks like a nice crowd tonight.
They're always a nice crowd, cowboy. We like to maintain an asshole-free zone.
That's nice. But they'd better, because the drinks are free in this bar, which is really weird.
I'll try not to be an asshole then.
I'm not worried about you, cowboy. You had a session tonight, didn't you?
Yeah, with the doctor fella. We had a hard talk about what being a vampire means. He's having a hard time coming to terms with it, even after 400 years.
I can understand that. I've stopped aging for the last 20 years and don't know how I feel about it yet. How do you think it went with him?
It went pretty well. It was a flawless session.
I think we're finally getting somewhere, actually. It's funny, a lot of vampires forget they're human, but he keeps forgetting he's a vampire. But just like we can't opt out of being human, we can't opt out of being vampires either.
Must have been a hard talk, cowboy. I sometimes wonder what I am. Staying the same age, drinking Andy's blood to live. Don't get me wrong, I like not being dead, but I still feel like I'm living on borrowed time.
Is this a good time to ask why you don't just join the dark side? It ain't that bad being dead.
I'm just not sure what I'd do with forever, you know? Eternity's a long time.
Yeah, but there's always the option to go walk in the sun, I guess.
Yeah, I think a lot of us vampires can't answer that question either. I don't think there's one answer anyway.
There you go. So I guess I'll keep putting off the question.
But nobody's rushing you, Crimson.
You think I'd let anyone? But thanks for listening, cowboy. Now why don't you go mingle? There's a new fella in the kink room who's very interested to meet you.
New fella. I think we'll see the new fella next time. Let's save here. And do we have people we would dare to raid? We do. Should we raid Seraphina? Yes, we should. Alright. So... we are raiding Seraphina. And thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you again. I might be... well... you can join me next time, latest on Monday. Bye bye.